Dorothy here with Done by Dorothy, and we are here today doing day 19 of our 25 Days of Christmas freebie ephemera and the tutorials to go along with it. So let's get started. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. So this is our first image we're going to do, and our second one with the cute little girl over here. So I have cut my images out. Oops, it's upside down. That'd be nice. So I've cut my images out. So let me put this to the side. This is what we're going to make today. We're going to make our little bag that we're going to adhere to our page, as well as our little mini junk journal that's going to go in it. So that's what we're doing today. Let me find my bag. And we're going to be using a popcorn bag. So let me set these to the side. And we'll start with this. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to sort of fussy cut around this. I'm going to leave the square side on the bottom. I'm just going to fussy cut around here and up to here. And again, you can use smaller scissors if you like. I have these sitting here. Well, I have Tim Holtz ones. His little titanium ones here too, but I already had these sitting here, so I grabbed it. And I'm just going to trim around it just as close as I can, with leaving, probably a 30-second of just barely a teeny tiny bit around the edge. And I'm going to come here on the bottom, and I'm going to trim it up till it's right below where the words start. Okay. Get these scraps out of the way. Okay, so there's what we got. So we're going to ink it up. And again, I'm using Tim Holtz Distress Oxide with the Vintage Photo. And you could use just the Vintage Photo if you wanted to. I just like that. I use a lot of the Distress Oxide because it gives me an option to change it if I want. So that just happens to be me, I guess. Okay, so we've inked it up. So then we're just going to sort of estimate where we want it, sort of eyeball it. Okay, and then I'm just going to hold this, and I'll tell you in a second. Let me find my pencil. Okay, well, I'll just mark it on the back and use my marker. It'll be okay. And again, this is a popcorn bag. These I actually found at the Dollar Tree. I got like 8 of them in a bag, or 8 of them in a package for $1 at the Dollar Tree. So you can find these just about anywhere. You can find them bigger, you can find them smaller. I really liked these because they were like the perfect width for tags and things like that. Okay, so I'm just gonna, well, let me measure. Here, let me find my ruler. And I will measure and tell you guys approximately how long how high, and so mine's roughly 5 1/4 is where I'm going to cut it off at. And I'm just going to use my pinking shears. And again, please don't use your fabric pinking shears. If you want to keep them for fabric, just, you know, go buy you another set of pinking shears for paper. Okay, this part you want to make sure that you set aside, because we are going to be using this for day 20. So make sure you set it apart. And try to cut it even, not crooked like I just did. And if you did, you've got time to get extra. Okay. Okay, so let me grab my ink sheet here. You're going to ink it up really, really good. So you want to ink this really, really heavy. You know, cover that bright white. Because we did a real heavy vintage feel with the journal so far, so I want to make sure that I follow through with that. So I'm going to ink this up really, really heavily. Really darken and dirty that white up so it doesn't look so fresh and new. It's hard to believe, with day 19, 6 days left. Okay, to ink that up, let me ink the edges really good. Try to ink them up sort of heavy, because they're going to have that worn and look. And then same thing down here. I sort of just curl it under, where you get that like that, and that'll give you, because you know you're going to see both sides of that, so I actually there you go. Okay, now you have options here, and this is totally up to you. We're going to adhere this in our book. Now, this does flex open. If you want to be able to stuff a lot of stuff in there, you know, then you may want to ink up the sides or the front if you're going to use the front, depending on how you're going to do it. I want mine just as a sort of a pocket. So I don't really want, you know, the extra space to add. And, you know, my book fits in there really, really good with the way that I did it. So this is just how I'm choosing to do it. So I take my art glitter glue, or whatever glue you're using, and I just run glue alongside the edge here and up inside the middle, right in the pleat, and then just glue it down. And we're going to do that to both sides, which is just going to sort of contain it, so it's not going to have that pleated opening, so it's going to make it more of a tighter pocket, so you don't have your anything flopping in and out, that type of thing. And again, that was just my prerogative. If you want to do yours different, you know, then go for it. And then, see how you have these little, so it has the little tags in the middle? I don't want every time I go to put something in there it to get caught up and tug on those, which is, you know, if you're going to put something in there, that's going to get in the way. I mean, that's just inevitable. So what I do is, let me try to make sure I just go in here about as far down as my tip will reach and just sort of glue on this little center flap. And it doesn't matter which way that you glue it, or, you know, if you want it to the front or to the back, it doesn't matter. Just so that it adheres to one of the sides, so when you go to use it, it doesn't catch. And then make sure you pull it apart so you didn't glue it in there. And then do it to the other side. So, I don't know if you guys can see in there to see where that glue is. See, that's just glued on that little flap. And just make sure you don't over glue it, because you'll glue your whole entire pocket open or closed. So I glue it, and then while I know it's going to still be wet. Okay, so see that? Tighten it up. I actually did one to the front and one to the back. It doesn't matter which way you do it. And then, well, and then see, your book will slide in there really good without catching or getting caught on anything. Okay, so there's that. So now we're going to glue this onto the front, and you're just going to sort of guesstimate where you want to put your glue. I'm going to have it's going to hang over a little bit, so I'm just going to go from like right here. I'm not going to worry so much about that little bit that's going to hang over the edge, because it's going to be glued to a page. So then you just sort of line it up where you want it at. And again, that's totally where you want it to be. Okay. Let me put my lid back on that glue. Pull my Fabri-Tac out. So I'm going to pull some cheesecloth, and you can put this wherever you want. I'm just going to put mine down here in this corner. Little glue down. Put my cheesecloth down. I'm going to cut another little piece of my doily that's almost gone. That's okay. That's what it's for. So I'm going to glue my doily down. And then I had some oddball little die cuts that I had fussy cut out of something forever and ever ago. So it was just in my collection. So I mean, you can use whatever you want. You could use a button, like the little flower. You know, let me see. I think I have some more of those. Did I? Yep, I have one more left. So I'll use my. But I use my little poinsettia. What I was going to say though before is I do have a little die cut, and you could use a die cut. Looks just as good. So, you know, if you don't have any actual flowers, you could use that. You could use a button. I mean, there's millions of things that, you know, any little thing you could put on there. You could put a bell, you know, glue a little bell to it and have a little jingle bell. You know, do a little charm off of it if you wanted to. I'm just going to put my little poinsettia here. I love poinsettias. I think they're so pretty. I was actually excited. I got to going through my stuff looking for something. And so I found some fabric that had some words on it. Of course, yesterday I used the candy cane. So I found some different little stuff. And I actually found this, which I was sort of excited about. A little vintage hanky. So I think I'm going to have to include that in my journal. Somehow in the middle is maybe one of my pages. May cut it in half and make it 2 pages, or I don't know. I may fold it or sew it on this side and in the center, and then, you know, make it 2 sort of pockets. Do that. Mod Podge it to some tea-dyed paper and be able to put it in there as pockets. So I'm going to do something with that. Or I may keep it, and I don't know. We'll figure that out as we get there. Okay, so our little bag's done. See, cute little bag is done. So now we need to move on. So, grab a piece of my tea-dyed paper. I'm going to use this one. Let me move this out of the way for right now. Okay, so first off, we know we're going to make a booklet, so I'm just going to fold this in half. I'm going to fold this in half. Let's put it up here. Okay, so we're going to do this the easy way. We're no measure. Okay, we know about where that's at. So we can just sort of guesstimate, hold it about where we think we want it to be. And so I'm going to hold it even on this side. And then just crease it. Okay, then to save myself some headache, I'm going to run a line of glue here and a line of glue here, a line of glue on each end, and then just glue those down, and then that'll be tucked up out of the way and we don't have to worry about it. So we can just use a whole page instead of having to worry about cutting something off. Okay, so we have this. Okay, so we know we've got about that much, so we do have to make sure that we stay with smaller than the width of our bag. And so you want to make sure you give yourself a little room. So we're gonna know, let me find my bone folder here. Okay, so I know I'm going to want to say within that bag. So I'm just going to sort of mark a spot there. Alright? And then when I mark that, I'm just going to open it up. I'm going to go over to my marks, the spot that I marked. Again, line my top up, line my bottom up. Fold it there. Right? Okay. Fold it over. And then we're going to come over here. Sort of crease that on each end. Open it up. And crease it. Okay. So we've creased that. So I want to do sort of some color decoration in here. And I've already got my green and red paper that I've been using. So I'm going to actually use my green. So I'm going to just cut off a little strip. And this is the paper ribbon you can buy at Walmart, anything like that. It's like made out of a craft paper. Okay, so I know that, let me even the end up here. Okay. So I just want to cover where I did that little fold there so it doesn't show through, because I'm going to glue these down and create tucks. But when I create that tuck there, there's no reason to have this. So I'm just going to cover that up. And your other alternative is you could cut this bottom off. I didn't. It was just, I didn't. So, I mean, if you wanted to cut that off, you know, feel free to. Okay. So again, I'm just going to use my bone folder. Sort of draw off where the crease is so I know where to cut. Okay. Then I'm going to glue the back of it. And, you know, if you don't want to do this, but I sort of like having the color in there too, so sort of a bit of color added to it. Okay. So just added that pop of color. And, I mean, you could have folded it over and did it across too. So now we're just going to go through here and add a little glue on each end and fold it. That's going to create our tucks on the inside. And again, on this end. And you don't have to do this either. I mean, you literally could just cut it down and have the front and back without any tucks or anything. This is just, I sort of like, you know, holding the whole paper down. Okay, then we're going to want to, okay. Now that we have all that done, let's ink up around the outside edges. And if you find that, you know, it's a little uneven on the top where you folded, then just trim it off a little bit. Nothing to it. Let me throw my lid in real fast. And I'm just going to ink around the edge real fast. This is coffee dyed, so it's inked up pretty well. You know, if there's a few places you want to add, or like where you folded on the creases, you know, just to give it some age along there, then you can do that. Overall, it looks pretty good. Okay, so we're gonna, well, I can tell you already this is uneven. There we go. So we're gonna ink up around the edges. You know what, before we do that, let's round the corners. Give it a little sass around the corners a little bit. And I'm using my envelope punch board. You can use a corner rounder of, you know, whatever corner rounder. If you don't have a corner rounder, you know, grab a lid. I was trying to see if I have a little lid somewhere. You can grab a lid, just hold it up to where you want the corner to be, draw it with a pencil, and then just cut it off. You can do that too. Okay, so we did that. Now let's ink it up. Just because that rounded corner will add a little bit to it. I hope you guys are enjoying the series so far. It's almost over. It's so hard to believe, I know. Some of you guys have been through every single day with me, and you guys are, you know, awesome. Seriously. Because I know how tedious, not how tedious it is. It's not really tedious, but it's not easy to sacrifice, you know, that amount of time every single day and to get everything done. Believe me, I know. Okay, so then I'm going to glue this down. And if you wanted to, you could use, instead of coffee dye paper, you could use colored cardstock. You could use pattern paper. Technically, you could even use Christmas wrapping paper. I sent my husband to get wrapping paper the other day because I was out. And he brought back this wrapping paper, you guys, that is just phenomenal. I'll end up showing it to you. I'll show it to you before the series is over, because I mean, I am just, it's got trains on it, and it is, oh my gosh, it's so gorgeous. And I was like, wow, apparently I need to let him pick out the wrapping paper every year, because I always pick out the real old vintagey feel stuff, and he got this, and it is more, looks vintage, but it's just absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so I'm going to grab my cheesecloth. Just throw some on the corner here, because you guys know how I do. Just throw it on. Don't think. Throw. And glue it down. Cut up some more of my doily here. I know, we're running out, aren't we? This one I actually made. I got others. My mom is great. Oops, you know what? I did not want to do this. I got sidetracked. Well, we'll leave it on there. I didn't want to do this because I was scared it would catch up in the bottom of my bag. Let me see how it's going to slide in and out of the bag. We may have to take it off and do some... Oh no, it goes in there okay. Okay, well, we'll put it that way. Let me find something else we can put on there that'll... You know what? Let's do another little peppermint, because I fell in love with the little candy cane that we did. Chop one off here. Get a fussy cut around here real fast. I'm going to fussy cut as much as I did last time. I'm just going to sort of add some extra to it because it'll fray over time. Now, I don't want this stark white as it was on the other one. Let me put my lid on my glue. It's getting towards the end, so it's acting crazy. I need to get some more. I'm going to just ink it up, add a little darker tone to it. Okay, so apparently we're putting this on the bottom. We'll see, there's a whole different way to do it, guys. We'll have to come back through, and at least we've put it towards the side over here. And the candy cane sort of looks good with the little girl anyway. Okay. So, let's build our book. I have this page I know I'm going to use because it was out of just like an old calendar that had maps and stuff on it with a little weekly schedule and thing inside of it that just has the days on it with no years, so you can actually write in it. And it's got a to-do list on the back, so I liked that. I know that I had, let's see what else I want to use. So, okay, that's small enough. Let me grab my cutter here and see what else we can find. Let's see, I've got this vintage, it's not vintage, it's digital, but it's got reindeers on it. It's sort of cute. So we'll trim it up here. You know, somebody asked about where I got this paper cutter from. This paper cutter is actually a Stampin' Up! Paper cutter, but they do not make this kind anymore. They have a new one. So just sort of fold that over. You know what? I think we'll just fold these in. I'll fold this in and we'll ink it up here in a minute, and then I'll glue it in and we'll have some little tucks in there. And it doesn't even matter if it's straight. See, I have a little map page here with a map on it. So, a map of India. So we'll add that. Let's see. Try to guesstimate where I need to cut it. A little bit less than there. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Those are all in my little scrap. Oh, that's 100 little dolls. We'll use that. That's perfect for Christmas. So we'll do that. That'll give us 4 or 5 different pages. Okay, so let's fold this one in half. And if it's uneven, you just trim it up. This one is, so. I would blame it on the cutter, but you know, I know the cutter is straight, so it's user error. Okay, so let's see how this will fit in here. Be out just a tad bit. So let's trim this up with just a little bit more. I guessed too large. Let's see. Yeah, that's a perfect fit. Okay, so let's put my lid back on my glue real fast. Let's ink this page up, and we'll just go through them as we go. So you'll sort of have a little hidden journal inside your journal, which, you know, if you're doing 25 days of Christmas, this one would be really cute to, you know, you could write everything that happened on Christmas Day, or, you know, Christmas Eve, or, you know, take pictures of what each person got and put in there. There's tons of stuff you could do with it, so. And you could do this out of music paper, and you could use all Christmas related things for this, you know. I'm just using what I had in my scrap pile. Now I know I want the 100 little dolls. Well, let's just do this. Glue it, and then I'll give another little tuck spot. I have some little tags in there we can maybe cut out another little candy cane and put on it or something. And let's just, I'm not going to fold this all the way because I want to make sure I have all the 100 little dolls on there. Okay, so there's that in there. And we don't have to ink it up because it's already vintage. So I don't really want to add or take away from it. So we're going to go around the top and the bottom of this. So we cover up all that white. And then I don't want this all white on the inside. So I'm going to open it up. And I know I only have to worry about, you know, my inside panels. So fine. I'm going to use my makeup brush again. I know, perfect use for makeup brushes. Finally found a reason, huh? And I'm just going to real lightly go over this. It's just enough to add so it's not that stark white. You know, it's not going to be extremely covered because you're going to have a lot of white spots where the stencil was. But it'll make a big difference. Okay. So see, that's, and again, that's the Americana by Deco Art, the Jacobean floral. And let's see, I can give you the actual number for it. 201707, Deco Art Americana. Okay. We'll go ahead and glue here and create a bunch of little tuck spots because you may have like little cards or, you know, gift tags you want to keep. Yeah, everybody has little things. So see, they added just enough that it took that starkness away. Trim it up. Okay, so there's that page in there. And we have our little thing. So how do we want to do that? Let's see how we want to do this. We don't want it all the same. Let's put the little pockets on the inside. Let's put this on the outside. Okay. So I'm going to make sure I have them all pushed to the spine. And then I'm going to see sort of what I have on each end. Sort of make sure it's even. Just slide this a little bit. Okay. Then I'm going to use my Tim Holtz stapler again. Crafter's best friend. And I'm just going to staple in two places. Okay. Close to the edge so it catches everything. And you can sort of go through and make sure it catches everything. And oh, see that one side didn't catch. So the two in here didn't catch. So we'll, there we go. There we got it. Okay. So then I go, because I want it to make sure it folds easy and nicely. So just go and fold it back. So you're sort of creating that spine where you stapled. Now see, that still didn't catch, but it did on the one, so we'll put a little glue right along the spine here. And that'll take care of that. And I mean, you could glue it. You could sew it. I mean, you could do it as extravagant as you want to. These are cute too if you want to do them all Christmas themed. You know, do them all Christmas themed, like this one. And it's literally scrap papers. So, you know, and staple it, throw a little fabric over top of it, you know, a little die cut, some lace, some cheesecloth or whatever, and, you know, have a little bitty journal you can throw in a stocking as a stocking stuffer or whatever. Okay, so there's that. So let's go in here and see what we can do. I have this is pretty plain. Let's ink up. This is again some, this is actually some holly. I think I said poinsettia earlier. I may have. If I did, it's not. It's holly that I had die cut before and had. I'm just going to glue it, ink it up and glue it down. just to add a little color, a little Christmas to the page. Okay. Let's see what else we could do. So, I mean, there's a ton of stuff you could do, lots of little things you could use for tucks. I'm gonna tear some of this off and ink it up. Glue it on there. And then I'm going to grab another little candy cane over here. Hold on, guys. Let me. I'm not even going to worry about really making this all nice and even. Ink it up a little bit. Put a little glue on there. My little candy cane on there, so it's just a little bit of decoration. Now I know somewhere, let me find it. I had one of these cute little tags that I coffee stained. So let me see, I got some of this. I have some pages of old notebook paper, so I'm just going to cut, well, let me just come up here and cut this off right here. Fold this in half. Let me ink it up on the edges here. Distress it a little bit. I can tuck that in there. Do that little tuck. And then let's come over here and get this bell out. Let me fussy cut around the bell real fast. I'm not going to be extremely accurate. I think it sort of adds to the randomness of it. And that's what makes each person different when they craft. You know, we each do our own little thing. Okay. Put that in the trash. Ink my little bells up. Yep, it flipped out of my hand. Well, there one again. Okay. And see, I got a little red ribbon. Let me cut up a little piece of red. Let me get a little bit of our green velour type ribbon that we've been using. Okay. Getting off the tip of my glue bottle, it gets all duggy. I'm just gonna throw some glue in the middle. Slide my green in there. I'm not gonna worry about if it hangs off the bottom. I'm going to throw my red right on top of it, right next to it. Put a little glue on my little bell design here. Just had a wee little piece of cheesecloth. There it is. Oh, let me cut it down a bit. Well, my bell's stuck to me. So I cut down a little piece. And pull this out, and it's one layer of cheesecloth, so I'm just going to lay it over there. Because I think I have enough glue on here to stick through it into the ribbon. And there, let me trim my cheesecloth up a bit. I want some of that ribbon to show through. And there's a cute little tag with like nothing to it. And I have no idea why they made these strings so long, but now let's go through and ink up the outside of our tag. And these would be cute. I don't even know where I got these from now. I know they do have some at Walmart that are like, you know, tags. You can buy them online. Yeah, just look around. They're different sizes. This one actually measures, what did I do with my ruler? Oh, there it is. This one is almost 3 inches. So this little scrap piece too over here that I'm just going to tuck in there. And then we can put this down in our little, well, you know what? Let's pull that little scrap out. The little scrap will shove down in there. Actually, we'll put it back here in this small part. Glue, put a little more glue on the top there. That didn't get it. Let me put my lid on my glue here before it dries out. And then we'll come over here on the back of the little doll's thing, slide that little tag in there. I think I'm gonna hold on just a second, guys. Okay, guys, I'm back. I am sorry about that. You know how that is. So, I'm gonna put my little tag in here. But yeah, this would be perfect even for like a little gift tag, you know, to put on presents or anything. I'm gonna knot this up so it's shorter. But yeah, to put on like any kind of little gifts or anything like that. And you know, you could take the string off and put decorative if you wanted to. However you want to. But I'm just going to keep it in there. And tuck it in there. So that's that. Let's see. I think we'll ink up one of these hollies to put on the back. Anyway, sorry about the phone ringing, you know. You know how that is. It's only when you're doing something that somebody calls. If you're not doing anything, the phone will never ring. The minute you're doing something, the phone will ring. Okay. So my holly, and I'm just going to put it across the bottom. Just as for something on the back, to add a little something on the back. So there's that. Okay. I'm going to fold this back here. Remember when we made our DIY washi tape? I made some of this, so, and it reminds me of sort of Christmas holly. So I'm going to go ahead and trim that off, and I'll use that along the edge. Let me get it started off here. And this was our DIY. If you watch our DIY washi tape in the Done by Dorothy videos for the DIYs, then you can find out how to make the fabric, because this was just fabric, but you can also make ribbon. And I really like doing the fabric because you actually get like the strings off the side and stuff, so you can, you know, age your ribbon over time. It's gonna naturally age, which I love. I love when it looks sort of old. So let me get it. And again, it's sticky, so you can just pull it over and let me pull this up a little bit right here, which I don't like doing that, but then we'll glue this back down. Yeah, so see that? It's just a cute little binding on the side. And we did that, and then I want to run a wee bit of the red up the side just to sort of pull in the red from the lines. I'm going to go ahead and use my art glitter glue on this ribbon. This ribbon is actually like a burlap, so the fibers tend to do okay. Let's see, let's tuck this right down here to the corner of our candy cane. To here. Let me grab this right here and sort of put a little angle on it. And then let that dry a little bit. Let me put this away. Well, sometimes you can't get the lid in there. Okay. So, dry a little bit. So there's our little booklet. So, you know, we got our few pages in there. And you could have made these longer if you wanted to. These just happen to be the height that I had, so that's what I put in there. Or you could just use tea-dyed pages inside and use like scrapbook on the outside. So, I mean, there's a ton of things you could have done, you know, as far as what you want to do. And then I'm going to actually cut a small section of my fabric ribbon again, because I want to sort of do like a little hang tag off the corner. Okay, let me cut a little edge of this red too. Sort of put that red in there with it. This is really sticky. I'm actually going to fold this in half because I don't want it as thick as that. So just fold it in half. I actually ink on the edges a little bit, which, you know, with that tape in there, it lets you do that, which adds another. I think I'll just do it over here on this side this time. Fold my little ribbon across. I'm going to use my Tim Holtz Tiny Attacher again. Make sure it goes all the way through. Yeah, it went all the way through. And that sort of puts a little tab on the top of it and adds a little bit of color on the top over there on the right hand side. So with that and the side and here, it sort of balances it out some. And the test, will it fit? Will it fit? And see, that's why I didn't want to make sure I put these. You know what, let me remedy this problem. And put a little glue down. And sort of glue some of this down where it'll stick. That way it's not going to be flipping up when I go to slide it in, and that'll sort of help take care of some of that, where I can ease it in without worrying about there being an issue. we go. See, that really, really helped. And then you can, they're little girls. So let's actually have, oh, and we need to do one more thing. So we're going to use this part right here. We need to get our stamp. And number 19, guys. We are getting so close to being finished. Here's our 19. Let me put 18 back up. I'm already in here. And I'll clean all my stamps when I get done with them. And we don't have to overhaul and clean everything because I've done so much back to back with all this that I just have a little bit of stuff everywhere. If you can't tell by looking at my table right now, I don't usually have this conglomerate of stuff everywhere. Okay. Ink it up really good. And we'll put our 19 right here on the back page. Ta-da! And let's go ahead and stamp this one. And I know I didn't stamp the 18 yesterday. I had to go back and do it. So if you're following along, make sure you get your 18 stamp on there. Oh, that one didn't do really well. Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. That is one thing I really like about using clear acrylic blocks and that clear stamps is it makes it really easy if it doesn't work to go back in and add it. So it really helps. Okay. So let's get these put in our books. We are moving right along building this book. So let me pull this one out. Oh, there's a page right there. Let me see. Okay. Sorry, I sort of have a certain way I'm doing each book, so, or the one I'm versus mine. So I'm just going to put some Fabri-Tac on the back because I really want this to be held really well. And the art glitter just seems like it doesn't hold this type as well. You know what, let me pull this out and set this to the side. Okay. And this, I think I'm just going to put it sort of to the corner. Though you do have a little bit of journaling area around. Okay, and we got it glued down. Slide our book right in there. Make sure it's glued in really well before I... Okay. So we have that in there. Day 19 done. Let me pull out the other book. Find a spot in here to put it. Here we go. I'll just put it right on the inside there. One on the front and one on the back. I'm telling you, this is just, it doesn't seem like we've been doing this for 19 days, but it's coming along. The amount of stuff we have is amazing. I've really enjoyed this series, and hope you guys have too. You know, if this is, you know, if you've really enjoyed it, and, you know, you'd like me to do more series like this where, you know, we build it from, you know, stop to go, then, you know, let me know in the comments below. You know, if you'd like me to do another one. I'm actually working on a couple different sets of things. You know, if you would like, I mean, obviously everybody wants free digitals. I'm all over that. You know, but even if you'd like, you know, digital kits of, you know, different designers included, or if you like this, or like breaking down a book and using a book, you know, what kind of things you'd like to see. Look at the chunkies. That one little shoe in there just adds to it. Lots of chunkies. So, we're really enjoying it. Again, comment below and let me know what you think. You know, if you'd like another series coming in the new year. You know, maybe not as long. You know, maybe, you know, different type images, that type of thing. Like, comment, subscribe, and we will chat with you guys tomorrow. We'll be back for day 20. 6 to go, guys. 6 to go. We're almost there. And then we'll, you know, we'll have 6, and then we'll have the covers to do too. So 7/8, depending on how long the covers take, because if I do the stereotypical way I do my covers, it'll probably have to be 2 days, because we'll have like a drying period in between. So I will be back tomorrow with day 20. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.